I'm Jane Sterk, leader of the Green Party of BC, and I welcome you to our online talk show, Green BC Solutions to a Better Future. It's my great pleasure to welcome Scott Kelly to our show today. Scott is president of Gentle Earth Products and a director of the Homegrown Collective. Welcome, Scott.
Thanks, Jane.
And I'm really interested to find out what you're doing. What is Gentle Earth Products and what is the Homegrown Collective?
Well, Gentle Earth Products, we're a local business that I started about 5 years ago out of my commitment for a greener world and just understanding the need for human beings, for our communities to take a leadership role in going green and healthy. And I grew up on 6.5 acres out in the peninsula in a farm, organic practices, grew a lot of our own food, and really wanted to get back to that lifestyle and couldn't understand why people were choosing to go to a grocery store and use nasty chemicals, and then it all goes down the drain. And in particular in Victoria, my concern is we don't treat our sewage yet. Yes. So all of that stuff, after it affects our own health and well-being in our environment, then it goes out into the environment and causes havoc. So I started working with local soap makers. I found this really great textile called microfiber, and then ended up taking over a business from a local supplier and started working more and more with local companies and local soap makers, and really being inspired by this community that grew out of that. And the customer base that we've developed are all people that really, they get it, and the nice thing about our products is that they work and they feel good. And so it's an easy switch once people really, get to know us and our products. And I'm supplying more than just products. Like, I really want to build community, a green community that cares about their well-being and the well-being of their community and the planet. And I think that it's easy for a business to take a leadership role there if the business has a pulse and a heart. And the great thing about choosing local businesses to do business with is that you can go and talk to the president of that company and have a conversation, whether you're a political leader or another business person or a consumer. And in today's market, it's so fascinating with social media how someone can be sitting in a restaurant, have an unpleasant experience, tweet about it to their friends, and the owner of that business gets the tweet and then comes and he's on it. So the opportunity is that businesses that embrace transparency and really connect with their consumers, their customers, but also do it in a responsible fashion. It's got to be a win for the business, a win for their customers, and a win for the planet, which in essence any good business model is one built on sustainability. And that's the big thing is, how can government, how can our customers support businesses in becoming more sustainable and doing the right thing. And so we have a number of things that we've done that I believe is very forward-thinking, with our Save the Bottle and the Planet campaign as an example, where people are buying a bottle and they're using it, and then they're buying a concentrate and they're refilling that bottle 25 times, and then they go and I give them $1 off refilling that concentrate. So they're saving money, they're saving the planet, and they're saving their health. It's win-win-win.
Yeah. And the other part of your philosophy, I really like the fact that you are driven by those three kind of wins, that the whole business model is one based on we can all win out of this. Business owner can make money, the customer can benefit from the products that they purchase, and the environment is better off for those two things happening together. The other thing that I've witnessed in the work that you've done is the commitment to try and say there is a local business community here. Let's all get together and support that local business. First of all, let's find out who they are, what they do, why that is of value to me and to the rest of the community, and let's find ways that we can support that business community, not only as consumers, but one business to another.
Collaboration.
Can you talk a little bit about that? I mean,
sure.
Even the word collective, that's a very unusual word to use in the business community.
Yeah, I think that there's, the old model of business, the one that's gotten us into trouble, the competition model. And then there's this beautiful new model that's arising that I'm experiencing with my close-knit, family of businesses. I mean, you get to know these other people and you refer business to them, they refer business to you. Word of mouth is amazing. I mean, if I do you a good service and you tell 10 of your friends, and with social media, they tell 100 of their friends, that's a great way to grow business. And it's an accountable way. The indigenous nations, that were here on this plane before us, there was a tribal council, and there was direct accountability, and so businesses that foster businesses and customers that sing their praises, there's that same kind of accountability, and so the opportunity, I think, with businesses supporting one another and growing together is that that competition model can be dissolved and replaced with collaboration and sustainability. And the nice thing about choosing a small local business is that when you invest $10 in that business, the opportunity is, if that business is conscious and that business tries to support other businesses and tries to build a good, solid business based on good ethics, that first of all, that money, that $10 can turn into $50, which is a principle called the multiplier effect. And that's how we're going to get out of this recession. This fear about, if we support the Green Party or green initiatives, there's a cost to the economy. I say, crap. Yeah. I say, if we support local businesses that are transparent and support other businesses that are local, starting with our food, and that's one of the reasons why I started the Homegrown Collective, is that sustainability starts with the food that we eat. If we are sick and on drugs, meds for pain, we can't be empowered in our communities, really. So we need to get the chemicals off our bodies, out of our homes, and we need to embrace out of our food. So, local, starts with food, and unfortunately on the island here, people are choosing the Safeways and the Costcos too much, and as a result, our farmers are going out of business because of the price of food and how cheap it is in other places of the world currently, and that will change, with the price of gasoline. And the old food systems, are in jeopardy. And so we need to act now. We need to support our local farmers now, not in 10 years from now, so that we can start feeding ourselves. And what an empowered community we'd be if we could feed 1 out of 2 people even on the island here. And that used to be the case. 30, 40 years ago, we fed 50% of our population. Now we're down to 4%. Right. Yeah. That's a problem.
And being an island and having to depend on transport to get our food here, as I understand it, we only have a couple, 3-4 days worth.
3 days, of food, yeah.
On the island. So I think a lot of British Columbians, a lot of islanders aren't aware that we are so dependent. We should be aware. I mean, when you go to a supermarket and you find peaches in the middle of winter, you have to know that they're coming from somewhere other than Vancouver Island. Yeah. And that there is some cost to that exchange. The other thing that is always amazing to me is that we also find food that grows on Vancouver Island that is food that can be kept, such as garlic. And you can go to a store and find garlic from China. It's just bizarre that we have that kind of a food system.
Well, not only that, but here's the scary thing, is our current government allows for garlic to be brought in from China, packaged, put into a little container, and then made in Canada on it. That's wrong, because it's packaged here.
Right, so we never really can trust where our food is coming from unless we know the farmer.
Unless we know that farmer. Get to know your farmer, absolutely.
What do you think it would take to recapture that sense of growing 80% of the food or 50% of the food that is consumed on the island? What would it take?
Well, first of all, I would love to see a train system that went from downtown Victoria. If there was going to be a bridge built, it should have a train on it. And go all the way up to Campbell River. We have the most amazing, lush, rainforest. This is a rainforest piece of land that we live on. There's some great valleys, the Cowichan Valley, the valley you know, in the Campbell River area, where there's some food grown. We're maybe only utilizing 10–15% because we don't have enough farmers, we don't have enough infrastructure, and we don't have enough government support that's putting money into expansion of food currently. Right. And then there's also the lack of demand. So if, you know, the consumers demand it, then bottom line, industry will catch up, you know, especially if government puts incentives in place for expansion, for new tools, you know, for our existing farmers, and for programs for young people that want to get into farming. At UVic, I regularly attend different food events there, and there's all kinds of students that would love to become farmers. Do they have $500,000 to do so? No. So there's things like the TLC that buy and help businesses and help farmers, you know, secure land, and then that gets leased back to farmers. There are strategies that are effective, and you know, we need to look to those models that are happening not just, you know, here, but across, you know, in other places in the world too, that can give us that knowledge and that wisdom that we can apply to our own special needs here.
When I was on Esquimalt Council, I used to complain about all the lawn, all the municipal properties that are in lawn, right? Which could reasonably be in good food production.
Sure.
And of course, there's been agriculture where you get young farmers who have many properties around a municipality and grow their market crops on that. And it's a hard sell for the current way of thinking. Politicians seem to like that manicured lawn look without the weeds, you know, and don't imagine what the community would look like if it was focused on urban agriculture. So it's not just that agricultural land that could be used more productively, but almost any land could be a little...
Absolutely, and there's nothing more empowering, I believe, and this is through my own experience, having grown up on a farm, but recently, you know, having connected with some local people that are doing great work, like Life Cycles organization, you know, after having supported them in an event that I threw, the Know Your Food event that you attended, you know, they came to me and said, you know, we have these students and they want to learn how to grow, build gardens and teach people how to do that. So do you mind if we have 20 people come over and build a garden in your backyard? And I'm like, let me think about that for about 2 seconds. And for, you know, $450, we built some 3 beds that for up until November, I was pulling, you know, that first cold snap kind of killed off the rest of the kale, but we were feeding our family, at least partially, and, you know, my little 1.5-year-old boy, I mean, how fabulous do I feel knowing that you know, we put the love into that. You know, there can't be anything more healthy, more vibrant than putting love into plants and then consuming them. I really feel that obesity and diseases, many of which are, you know, are social health problems that we have, would be eradicated if we ate more local food grown in our backyards. And absolutely, if we can't count on enough farming to feed us, then we should be subsidizing with gardens. And, you know, people in condos can still have a little plot, you know.